We're back, another TechBiz tutorial, and continuing from our part 1 of rock paper scissors with Python programming. We're going to make a few modifications to that simple rock paper scissors game so that we can continue playing and not just play it once and then have the program end. So if you want to see more about, if you're just joining in, you may want to watch our rock paper scissors 1 tutorial on the same channel, or you can probably figure it out as we're going through this one as well. Alright, so we'll keep the previous program of rock paper scissors that we used as a starting point. There will be a few things that I'm going to change to this though. One of them is going to be player 1. I'm going to make a variable for that, which is going to be like a score keeping mechanism. Then I'll call this one computer is also equal to 0 to start with there. Alright, the list up here we can keep at the top. I think that will work fine. And yeah, I think we're ready to begin. So I want to get us into a loop. We're going to use a while loop for this to have this game kind of be able to cycle through multiple times. So I'll call the variable play and is equal to input, and we'll go, are you ready to play rock paper scissors? And we can go Y or N. Alright, so that's pretty easy to get us started. Then we'll go while play dot lower, so that way it doesn't matter if they type in capital or not. While play dot lower is equal to Y, and we'll press our enter here, and I think I'm just gonna make kind of a little, I don't know, marquee for the top of this. So I'll go print, and this can be something that we can modify later, but I'll just for something here, and then I'll type in this one rock paper scissors, and we're gonna say that this is the 1st to 3 is the mode for this game. Alright, and just to kind of center that a little bit, maybe I'll put in 1 star up there. Alright, that looks pretty good. Then underneath that we can type in print, we'll go player 1, and that's player 1 score right there. And then we can go with a comma after that, and here we'll type in computer is going to be computer. Alright. We can always kind of play around with that later, but this should be, actually this will be okay like this for now. And then I'm going to copy this line and just paste that right there. Okay, so we have those things entered in, and now I'm going to select this code from here, and I am going to to select all the way down here to our whole game, minus this, that's not even a choice. I'm not going to put that one in there yet. But I want to tab that selection over to that while loop in there. So that's going to allow us to include this section in here. And this user guess.lower, I'm going to go ahead and make that an elif. And up here I will select if and type in user guess dot lower, and I'm going to say not in here, let's do this here. This is going to kind of come back and haunt us a little bit. Alright, so I am actually going to make a list up here as well called I'm going to call this player 1 options. Alright, and I'm going to put a R P S. Alright, so that way here's a list of items that we would enter in, and then down here I'm going to type in if user guess dot lower, and then I can put not in, then select player 1 options and hit enter there. Then I can print underneath this and type in that is not a valid command. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is I'll turn back and make this an if, and then here I can go underneath and go else. Alright, and now I'm going to reselect this again. This is kind of going a little bit out of order. Hopefully this doesn't become too confusing for any of that, but I'm going to tab that over one last time. Alright, so if it's not in there, if our entry is not in that, it's going to print that. Else, then we can play the game, I believe. Okay, so scrolling down to the bottom then, this is where we had our statement before, what would happen if we typed in an option that wasn't available. Alright, and I think we're getting into a pretty good flow here. Alright, so we're playing rock paper scissors. It's in this while loop. We want to have a score keeping mechanism in here. So then now we just need to go into here where for example in this first one, if the computer wins, okay, then we want to say computer, or do we call it, yeah, computer is equal to computer plus 1. Alright, and then if we go down here to one where we win, then we would say player 1 is equal to player 1 plus 1. Alright, so there's our options for that. Now in this next one here, we're going to do that same thing. Alright, so this one we would win, so I'm going to say player 1 is equal to player 1 plus 1. And here I can go computer is equal to computer plus 1. Alright. Then we go back down to this one and the same thing one final time. Computer wins, computer is equal to computer plus 1. And player 1 is equal to player 1 plus 1. Alright, so those are our score tallying that it'll keep through each time. And that's why we have our scores outside of the while loop, because if we put them inside the while loop, then it's going to tick back to 0 every time we play through. Okay. After this line of code, now that we have our score part put into there, we need to make another line here, but this is going to be back one level to the same level as this else right here. Alright, and I need to compare the score, so I'll select if player 1 is greater than 2, so that would mean they have 3. Then I can go print I'll go so if player 2 is greater than 3, then I'll say player 1 wins. Alright, so that'll acknowledge that there's the winner. Then we can go to did we call this play? Yep, while play plays what takes us into the while loop, so we need to get something to take us out of the while loop. So play is equal to n. Okay, we also want to select, or we want to choose if computer is greater than 2, then print the computer wins, and play is equal to n. Okay, so it'll check for those two if statements at the end of the round to see if it needs to keep playing or not. Alright, and then we have our the game is over, and maybe we would do something like, actually let's do this. We'll put in final score and go print player 1, and then we can put in player 1 and print computer Alright, so I think we're ready to try this thing out. We have our import random to randomly generate from our materials. We have our score keeping system. We have player 1 options as a way to compare our options for rock, paper, scissors in case we enter something incorrectly. Asking if we're ready to play. That takes us into our while loop. And here's our little score marquee. Then it asks us rock, paper, scissors. It randomly generates the computer guess, and then it goes through everything. Then at the end it compares the score and gives us our final outcome. So we'll try this out here. Ready to play. Let's type in N. Okay, it kicks us out right away. We try this again. We enter Y. Rock, paper, scissors. Let's try typing in something that isn't an option. So I'm going to type in T. And it says that is not a valid command. Cycles back up. Rock, paper, scissors. Alright, so we'll go R. Rock loses to paper. Computer wins. Alright, let's try P. Paper covers rock. You win. It's updating our score on there. S. Scissors tie scissors. It doesn't update the score. Good. Let's try scissors again. Let's try rock. Alright, the computer got to 3. And because that number was greater, then it kicks us out of the game and gives us our final score. So it looks like our code works. There's a lot of other things you can do that you can use to modify this with, but I think this is a pretty good start to a rock, paper, scissors game using a while loop, applying what we learned in the previous tutorial and making it a little bit more challenging or more replay value, I guess, and see what you can do to keep improving it. I'd be excited to see how you can improve this code in your own experiments. Appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you on the next tutorial.